And then we interview the parents to be sure that you really need help, but you can't afford it. Because there are some persons that they are just complacent. They just don't want to train their children. No, we don't have business with people that don't want to train their children. We have business with those that desire to train their children but cannot afford it. When we started, I had to remove my 2 children from the school where I was paying serious money, and I brought them here. But that was when some people began to take this vision seriously, that if he can bring his children here, that means the quality of what he wants to give other people's children is going to be top notch. Whatever my children should have enjoyed, that's what these children are enjoying. We teach them French. Our French teacher is a master degree holder in linguistics and French. We teach them Chinese. Our Chinese teacher studied in Beijing. Someone came the other day and said he was expecting the children to have sickness on their head, catarrh running from their nose. I said no. Someone wanted to donate used books. I said you can't donate used books to my children in this school. It must be new books. They are not second-class children. Okay, Kingston Nursery Primary School is a vision to make quality education not just affordable but free. Because I am of the conviction that children, no matter the financial situation of their parents, they have the right to quality basic primary education. As a child growing up, I was used to being chased from school for school fees many times. My dad tried his best then, but sometimes, because of the quality of school he wanted us to go, which was one of the best in Warri that time, there were times where, because of his level of income, there was shortfall. So I was used to being chased from school regularly. And I know the pain, the emotional trauma that children at that level go through when they have to be called out of class, to be driven out of school. You may think that children at that age don't face through trauma. They go through what, especially when they are being shamed by their classmates. So at that little age, I felt one day when God helps me, I will be able to at least give 1 or 2 children scholarship. When I also drive past Akute and I see a crowd of children that they chase from school in this environment, it pains me. I felt that one day if I had the opportunity, 1 or 2 children would be taken off the street, until when one day I had an inspiration in my spirit, start a free school. But out of fear, I started it as a tuition-free school, because of course you have to be afraid when uniform will be free, books will be free, school fees will be free. How will you pay teachers? Right now we currently have 14 teachers and we teach French and Chinese. So I started as tuition free. Okay, don't pay school fees, don't pay PTA, don't pay this, don't pay that, but buy uniform and books. So the first time the parents bought uniform and books, no school fees. They were even wondering how we're going to pay school fees. God was able to send 1, 2, 3, 4 persons that supported. This is 20,000, this is 5,000, this is 2,000, this is 500. We were able to pay salaries of teachers for the first time.
I'm a parent. I'm one of the parents in the school. The children are doing fine. I'm Mrs. Mary Johnson by name, and I have 2 children in that school. Well, they are doing very well now. For the last time, the other boy was not doing good. He cannot read, he cannot spell. But to God be the glory. After this one time, the proprietors promised me that by the time they will brush him up for the next time, I'll be very happy. And thank God, now he's doing well.
Taking your children to this school, was it because it's close, it's a school in the neighborhood, or because you do not have the funds, the money to send your children to proper schools?
Thank you. Number one, things are very difficult when I came back.
When I went to pray, I heard in my spirit, I didn't send you to do tuition free, make it totally free. I was afraid. In fact, the proprietress, who happened to be my wife, was very afraid. In fact, she fell sick for 2 weeks because of the fear. She understood the financial state of the family. Why would God give that kind of instruction? But I tell you that as we made plans to obey, God began to send help little by little from here, from there. And we started July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. This is the 10th month. I can tell you categorically that God has been faithful. So the vision started out of a desire, a strong passion to see children off the streets. They have the right to basic primary education free of charge. Thank you.
When you told her, what was her reaction? How did he take it, and how has she been supportive of this project?
Initially, like I told you, she fell sick. We rushed her to the hospital, to 2 or 3 hospitals. They could not diagnose nothing. It was the emotional trauma and the shock of the vision, because the salaries every month is 485,000. We use fuel of about 2,000 daily. Apart from several other expenses, books are there. This month they just supplied some uniforms. You can see those 2 children, their uniforms are squeezed. They just supplied them this morning. So we are still producing uniform as they keep bringing children. In fact, some parents came recently and we had to turn them back because of lack of space. The parents wept. When they were weeping, I also felt like weeping, because we can do more if we have more facility, if we have more space. I can tell you, as school has resumed, there are thousands of children at home. It shouldn't be if there are opportunities for them to be in school, not just any kind of school, but quality education that can be at par with any level of education anywhere. When I told my wife, she initially was afraid, but gradually, as God began to prove himself, she is supportive of the vision now. Yes, ma'am.
But having run for about 10 months, how has it been funding the school, from uniform to books to salaries and all that? How has it been?
It has really been challenging. It has been a journey of faith. The funny part of it is that we're not owing for last month, to the glory of God, and who God will use to provide next month, I currently don't know. It has been like that month in, month out. But I believe that as God helps and we get plenty supporters, we'll be able to plan. Take, for example, now the rent has expired. The rent is 1.5 million of this facility. And the landlord will collect his rent, whether you are doing free school or not. He's not the one that sent me to do free school. So if we get help for the uniform, for the books, for the free feeding, for the rent, it will go a long way to get more students. It will go a long way to alleviate the economic problems of many families. It will go a long way to employ more teachers. I was telling someone the other day, this school is one of the highest paying schools in this environment. We pay minimum wage of 30,000. Whereas there are schools in Akute, because of the economic situation of this environment, they earn 8,000, they earn 12,000, they earn 16,000. The highest you can see is 22,000. And we started with 30,000. Why? To be able to attract the best teachers around so as to give these children quality education.
How has it been paying teacher salaries?
Like I said, God has been faithful. Like this morning, someone asked for the account number of the school, sent 5,000. I wake up one morning, I'll see 15,000. I wake up, we'll be gathering it together like that. So all the teachers don't receive their salaries once. So as this comes, you pay the security man. As this comes, you pay the office assistant. As this comes, you pay basic 1 teacher. They receive their salary at different times, but they all receive it for the end of the month.
Right, and how about supply of books and uniforms? How are you able to cope with the funding of that as well?
We've written to several publishers, but to date, we've not had any support yet. It's just one young man, Mr. Ayo, who works with Evans Publishers, that uses his own pockets, from his own pocket, supplied some books to us, paid from his own pocket. We've written to many publishers. They are yet to respond. I believe if 1 or 2 publishers supplies us books, it will take away that burden of having to buy books regularly. And if 1 or 2 fashion houses takes a sample of the uniform and takes care of the uniform, that our area will be handled. You see, if everyone takes the area that they feel they can take, we'll be able to. I am telling you that there are up to thousands of children at home right now. I see them every day, but the facility is small. So if we have help and can take in more students, it will help.
Is the school registered? Is it government certified?
The school is not yet registered. We've made a move. We were at the local government, because you have to start from local government. If for local government, the cost of registering a school is pretty high. In fact, it is in different stages. You have to pay for this, pay for survey, pay for that, pay for that. And I explained to them that it's a free school, but I don't think there's provision for registration of free schools yet. I believe the government will work on it, but right now there's no provision for registration of free school. You have to register like every other school, and you must start and end in one academic year. So right now we don't have the funds to register the school. When the funds come in, we'll do the registration immediately. But every criteria that they have told us, we've already put it in place. It's just the funds that is remaining to pay for the registration.
Okay, talking about the free feeding, when you started feeding these children, did the parents give you their total support? Because this is Africa, whereby parents do not like their children eating outside.
That's right.
What was their reaction when you said you want to start feeding their children once a day? And why did you come about that project?
Okay, there was a day I was going around the classes during their lunch, and I observed that some of the children what they bring as lunch is not really. I felt like crying that day, and I just said in my heart that what if we can just provide one decent hot meal a day for these children? What if? And I spoke to one or two parents. They bought into the idea, and 99% of the parents gave their consent. It's only one parent that said, I can feed my child, no problem, madam. The others that want to take advantage of it can go ahead and take advantage of it. And initially it started from food stuff in my house, because I'm one person that if I believe in a vision, I must pursue it. And when people started seeing that this is spaghetti, this is crayfish, this is yam, and people began to support, one or two families began to support, and I believe that God will continue to sustain it.
It's a friend that introduced me to that school, that they are doing very well, kind. If somebody can sleep and just wake up in a day, said, okay, he wants to be giving children free education in the situation of the country we are today. So I personally, I really appreciate them.
Are you in support of the fact that the school is giving them free lunch?
I'm in support, because before the free lunch came up, the director of the school and the proprietress told us that there will be free feeding in the next term, of which me personally, I asked him and the woman why. They said some of the children, so that they will be concentrated in the school, and secondly, some of the parents, they don't have enough money to feed the children well before coming to school or bringing food to the school. That most of the time they say what they used to give the children is not good enough, so that they will be having rest of mind and concentrate to their education. So I'm in support.
Speaking about selection of children into the school, of students into the school, how do you select them?
Okay, we do an examination and we pick the best brains. That's 1, 2. And then we interview the parents to be sure that you really need help, but you can't afford it. Because there are some persons that they are just complacent. They just don't want to train their children. No, we don't have business with people that don't want to train their children. We have business with those that desire to train their children but cannot afford it. So we'll do our findings. We'll send one or two teachers to go and check out these parents. Some are children of orphans. Some the father is late, one the father is late, one the mother is late, one the parents are available but they cannot afford to send children to school. So we'll pick those that want to go to school, that really want to go to school but cannot afford it. Not those that can afford it that are just being lazy.
So if you were to get help from anybody outside, what are some of the things that you need, that you want people to support you with in order to carry this project and this vision to the next level?
Okay, number one, we would like to get support with a land because we want to build. We want space right now. In fact, by September, once this class that I'm in now, once they are promoted to the next class, we have issues with space. So we need a class now for primary, for basic 5. Is it that I'll have to give up my office for basic 5 and look for office anywhere around the compound? We need land for school to build a massive school that can take more students, and we need buses because there are some parents that live very far. They take close to 2 or 3 bikes to bring their children every morning. So if we get a school bus that can, 1 or 2, that can be at a central location, that can bring the children comfortably to school and take them back to that central point where they can disperse, it will help, because some people come as far as Lambe inside. If we get a school bus that can bring them, fine. And then we need support for the payment of the teachers' salaries. We need support for books. We need support for uniform. We need support for running costs. And most importantly, we need support for solar. If we can get a solar company that can install solar power, that can take care of, instead of us buying fuel of 2,000 daily, if we can get a solar company that can give us power, that will take fan, that will take bulb, that will be perfect. So those are the things that we need basically.
Saying, back when you were growing up and you were being chased out of school several times, as a child, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel like a third class child. It made me feel like my parents were failures. It made me feel like, that feeling of they must drive you for school fees, that feeling of you must be the last person to pay, that feeling of like you are not at the same level with other students. It affects the psychological upbringing of the child. It affects the social, it affects the mind of the child. I was really, really affected. It took me a long time before I could come out of low self-esteem. It took me a long time before I could believe in myself, because I was among those that felt that life will continue to be like this because my parents didn't have enough to send me to the private school that he insisted that his children must go. My dad, God bless him, he was an insurance marketer, so the funds were not coming the way they should come as at that time. Though he's better off now, but at that time as his first son, I really passed through a lot of challenges that has to do with education.
That experience and seeing children now on the street, would you say this was part of the motivation that you had in setting up Kingston Nursery Primary School?
That was one of the basic motivation. In fact, if I had not had that upbringing, what you have suffered before will birth compassion in your soul. What you have passed through before will make you compassionate when you hear another person passing through it. So because I had suffered such, it was easy for me to understand what God was trying to tell me to do, because it will help people, it will help plenty children, thousands, hundreds of thousands as the year goes by, that will not suffer what I suffered when I was growing up as a child. So that was one of the basic motivation of setting up Kingston Nursery Primary School.
I know you have kids.
Yeah, 2 boys.
How many? 2 boys. Are they also attending this school?
Oh yes. When we started, I had to remove my 2 children from the school where I was paying serious money, and I brought them here. But that was when some people began to take this vision seriously, that if he can bring his children here, that means the quality of what he wants to give other people's children is going to be top notch, because some people know the quality I have, the passion I have for quality education for my own children. So whatever my children should have enjoyed, that's what these children are enjoying. We teach them French. Our French teacher is a master degree holder in linguistics and French. We teach them Chinese. Our Chinese teacher studied in Beijing. So whatever quality that my children should have gotten is what these children must get. They will not get anything low just because it's a free school. Someone came the other day and said he was expecting the children to have sickness on their head, catarrh running from their nose. I said no. Someone wanted to donate used books. I said, you can't donate used books to my children in this school. It must be new books. They are not second-class children. They are not lower-class children. They are not second-class citizens. Whatever we must give them must be quality, because they deserve it.
How about some of the teachers? Do they also have their kids come to this school?
Oh yes, some of the teachers have their kids come to this school. So we're empowering the teachers by paying them very high salary, and they have the salary to themselves because they don't have to pay school fees for their children.